So, Sylvia, as Greg offered, we will do this class for רפואה שלמה, for your sister, רבקה בת נורה, רבקה it was? רבקה בת נורה. שהשם ישלח לה רפואה שלמה. So, we are starting a new Chumash. The new Chumash, Sefer Shemot, also called the Exodus, or in Hebrew, the other name in Hebrew is Sefer HaGalut והגאולה. The book of Galut and Redemption. So it's generally divided to the first part. First four parashot is about the Exodus itself. After that, we have Matan Torah and Parashat Mishpatim. And in the end, all the last part of the book is about the construction of the Mishkan, which is like the final redemption. So redemption, it's not only going out, someone come up, maybe it's long. Redemption is not only coming out from slavery, coming out from Egypt. Redemption is create our connection with Hashem through the temple. We don't have the temple, but this is like the final destination, not to be free. The freedom for itself, it's not the last purpose, at least not the literal meaning of freedom. Right? The last purpose is to live with Hashem among us. Right? So this is generally how the book is going. And there is a lot in the Chassidut to take the idea of national redemption and to adapt it to personal redemption. So personal redemption, it's many times a term that is related to Christianism, right? Jesus will save you personally, you. Right? Usually when we're talking in Judaism about redemption, we are talking about national redemption. The Mashiach will come and save Am Israel. And each of everyone, but it's like national or even universal, right? All the world will be redeemed. We're not talking about the personal salvation. Jesus will save me. He saved my soul, right? We're not talking about that usually. But yeah, in the global and national and universal aspect, we also have the individual one. And each one is striving to be redeemed in the meaning that is striving to fulfill his mission in this world. He's striving to be the best version of himself, to overcome his weaknesses, etc. So in this meaning, we can talk about personal redemption or personal overcoming all the challenges and the problems that we have. So many times what we are doing is taking the national story and try to adapt it to personal case. So this is, I was saying, as a general introduction to all the book of redemption. We are talking about the national redemption, but also we can learn a lot about personal redemption. Now, we will focus on the special moment of the first revelation to Moshe in the snake. Right? So remember the story is, so the fire, he approached, and then Hashem talked to him. As usual, we will see some questions, but we will not answer all the questions about the verses. So the verses themselves, there are many, really, the more you read, more questions write about that, of course, but it's always like that in the Torah. The more you read carefully and look word by word, you will find a lot of questions. So I just read the three first. The two last, I just brought the two last because there is something that later it's going to talk about. But let's see the first three verses. The verse before it said that Moshe went to with the flocks. He was shepherd. He went to Ara Elokim, to the Mount of God, which is Har Sinai, according to the Perush. And it says, "Vayirah malach Hashem elav belabat esh mitoch hasneh." The angel of God was revealed to him in the Laba, so it's a word that it's not very clear what it is. Later we're going to see. But let's say for now, the heart of the fire, Libat, according to what I'm saying now, it's the heart of, like Lev, right? Labat, Lev, the heart of the fire from the snake. So an angel of God was already revealed to him from the beginning. What he saw first? According to what it says, he saw angel. He didn't see the fire, he saw the angel inside the fire. Usually we understand like he saw fire, he come closer, and then Hashem talked to him. The verse looks like he first saw the angel, or the angel was revealed to him, Vayera, Vayar, and then he looked. So it's the first one is Vayera, the second is Vayar. Vayera, it was appeared to him. Vayar, he saw. וירא והנה הסנה בוער באש, והסנה איננו הוקל. So he saw the snare, how do you say snare? Bush. The bush, right, burning in the fire, and the snare is not consumed. So the second word v'hasneh here is unnecessary. It could have said, and he saw that the snare was burning without being consumed. והנה הסנה בוער באש ואיננו הוקל. You repeat again the word הסנה. ויאמר משה, so Moshe said, I guess to himself, אסור הנע ואראה את המראה הגדול הזה. So לסור is like להסיר, to take away. Here is taking away himself, right? It's not the usual word. I will approach, I will come closer. אקרב ואראה, right? אסור, it's like I'm taking myself from here in order to go closer. ואראה את המראה הגדול הזה, this big vision, מדוע לא יבער הסנה? Why the snare is not, why is not burning? It's burning. What does it mean, why the snare is not burning? It should have said, why the snare is not consumed? מדוע לא יעוקל הסנה? The word, you see, there are two words in Hebrew. I know that you're not Hebrew speaker, so it's sometimes not very clear, but it says that the snare is burning, bo'er, and it's not consumed, ukal. And then you're going to see why it's not burning. מדוע לא יבער הסנה? It's burning. Understand what I'm saying? It looks like strange. וירא השם כי שר לראות, Hashem saw that he came closer to see, or that he removed himself from where he was to come and see. ויקרא אליו אלוקים מתוך הסנה. Now here I challenge you to find a question. I'm reading again in Hebrew. וירא השם כי שר לראות, ויקרא אליו אלוקים מתוך הסנה. Yeah, okay, it's developing. We have מלאך Hashem. Here it doesn't say malach, it say Hashem. What else? Elokim, and what's the question?
Which attribute of?
Yeah, Hashem or Elokim?
Yeah.
Vayar Hashem, so Yud Kei Vav Kei, I just took the word. Vayar Hashem kisar lirot, Vayikra elav Elokim mitoch hasneh. And Elokim called him. Why didn't Hashem call him? Why didn't the angel call him?
Is Elokim, like, is that supposed to be the actual word in the...
Yeah, I mean, if it says here Hashem, why you cannot say here Hashem? או וירא אלוקים כי שר לראות ויקרא אליו אלוקים, או אפילו ויקרא אליו. ויקרא אליו, you already said the name of God. If it would be like that, Hashem saw that he came to see, and he called him. Why do you have to say Elokim again? And then why you have to change the word? You can say both Hashem, or both Elokim, or both Malach Hashem. Three of them. Okay, so we have here that Malach Hashem, Hashem, Elokim. Three different words to refer to the divine force that was there in who was there? Malach Hashem, Hashem, or Elokim? It's the same thing, but different kind of revelation. Okay, well, Moshe, okay, again, you can keep reading and keep asking questions. Yeah, I'm not going to do all of that. I'm just going to read now and translate. ויאמר אל תקרא ולא, so Hashem told him, don't come any closer. של נעליך מעל רגליך, take away your shoes from your feet, כי המקום אשר אתה עומד עליו was a place you are standing upon, אדמת קודש הוא, it's a holy land. ויאמר, say again, so there is one saying, and there is another, the third saying. ויאמר משה משה. First he said Moshe Moshe. Second he said don't come closer, because it's a holy place. And then only then he present himself. ויאמר, and then he said, Hashem, אנוכי אלוקי אביך, I am the God of your father. Your father meaning who? Amram, I guess. Then he said, אלוקי אברהם, אלוקי יצחק ואלוקי יעקב. So I'm the God of Avicha, of your father, and also the God of Abraham, and he repeats the word God 4 times. אלוקי אביך, אלוקי אברהם, אלוקי יצחק, אלוקי יעקב. He could have said again, אני אנוכי אלוקי אביך ואלוקי אברהם, יצחק ויעקב. Each one of them different אלוקי. And then, ויסתר משה פניו כי ירא מהביט אל האלוקים. So he covered his face because he was afraid to look in on God. Okay, again, so many questions that I'm not going to answer, just to provoke your interest. And then when you read the Torah, Parasha on Shabbat, you maybe think about some answers. But now, let's see some of the Mefarshim. So, first of all, Ibn Ezra explained what does it mean, labat esh. So there are two explanations, it's only on the pshat. labat esh, יש מפרשים בלבת אש, בלהבת אש. So, להבת, שלהבת is flame. So there was a flame, and there was a fire. The fire and the flame of the fire. So the angel was in the flame, not in the heart of the fire. ונכון בעיניי, but the right explanation according to my opinion, היא בלב האש, in the heart of the fire. So it depends when the angel is exactly appears. Okay, maybe it's significant. There is some significance for that. Okay, so this is just a literal comment, and here, sorry, I'm hiding you. Now, many spoke about the different levels of appearance, of a revelation, right? One of them is Rabbeinu Bachye, and he say, ועל דרך הפשט. So he's going also according to the Midrash, according to the Sod. He says, now פשט, literal meaning of what we read. עניין הפרשה הזאת, כי משה השיג 3 עניינים, ואלו הם האש, והמלאך והשכינה. So Moshe achieved meaning a right to understand. It was a gradual process of learning. And it's important to remember, the prophecy of Moshe Rabbeinu is above all the other prophecies. It's one of the principles of the faith of Maimonides, that the prophecy of Moshe is not like any other prophecy. This prophecy was also like that. It was the first time Hashem was revealed to him. From the first time Hashem revealed to him, it was in the highest level, or it was a process of learning. So it looks like this first meeting between Moshe and Hashem is very long. It's taking, like, according to Chachamim, 7 days. But according to the Torah, at least it's 2 or 3 chapters. It's a very long conversation. So I guess that most of the conversation, it was in the highest level of prophecy that Moshe is characterized in this level. But at least in the beginning, he should elevate himself gradually. And that's what Rabbeinu Bachye says. He says, תחילה ראה האש שהייתה מתלקחת בסנה ואין הסנה נשרף. וראה זה בעין הבשר ממש בעקיק. So first he saw that there is a fire inside the bush, and the bush is not consumed. That's what he saw. It's not what looks in the pshat. In the pshat, looks like he first saw the angel in the fire. But he said, no, he first saw the fire. We say that the Torah told you that in the end he's going to understand that it's an angel. But the first sight of Moshe was seeing the fire. And he saw that like a regular sight, like we see in our eyes. אין הבשר, meaning in the physical eye. כי כשראה הסנה בוער באש, הכיר שהוא אש, והיה סבור שהוא אש גופרית של מטה. וכשהיה דעתו כן, ולא היה הסנה הוא קל, על כן רצה להתקרב, זהו שאמר, אסור אהבה נראה. So he said, at the beginning, he just saw fire, he saw that it's not consuming the bush, and he wanted to see what it is. He said, because שאילו היה סבור שהיה האש שלמעלה, לא היה מתקרב. If he thought it's something unnatural, something divine, he wouldn't approach. Because like Hashem told him, you cannot approach, it's a holy place here. So that it was from the beginning. And אחר שראה האש הזאת, after he saw the fire, נתחזק שכלו בראיית המלאך. His strength is mind. Meaning seeing the angel, it wasn't a physical vision, it was a spiritual one. So he could, when he noticed the fire, when he noticed what's going on, he come approach, and then he elevate himself in his mind to see the angel. וזה שכתוב, היה מלאך השם אליו, וירא מלאך השם אליו, ולבט אש מתוך הסנה. משמעות הכתוב, כי לבת אש ראה תחילה, ואחר כך המלאך מתוך האש. When you say, it saw that from the fire, meaning first he saw the fire, and then he saw the angel. ואחר שנתחזק שכלו בראיית המלאך. After he was strong enough in his mind to see the angel, or to understand the existence of the angel there, ראה במראה הנבואה כבוד השכינה. וזהו שאמר, וירא השם כיסה לראות ויקרא אליו אלוקים. So from that, he arrived to the level of speaking with Hashem. So the angel, according to that, was a intermediate stage. When Moshe was elevating himself to prophecy, to the prophecy of the level of Moshe Rabbeinu, he had to go through physical vision, spiritual vision, and only after that, prophecy. And that's what he says. And I just read directly the translation, because now it was the beginning of the prophecy of Moshe. Hashem wanted to educate him gradually and to elevate him stage by stage until his mind will strength. Like he says, for example, a metaphor, a person that is sitting in a dark house for a long time, if he suddenly go out and look on directly on the sun, he will become blind. It will be darkness in his eyes. So you need to look on the light little by little until he gets used to it. And he says the same that's happened with the light of the sun, it's the same idea and the same reason in the light of the mind, meaning the spiritual light, the light of understanding. You cannot go directly to Hashem. You cannot teach Kabbalah someone that doesn't know anything about Judaism. You know, there is this passion of learning Kabbalah. You're not making Shomer Shabbat, you're not Shomer Kashrut, you are not saying Tfilah, but you are learning Ari Kadosh. It's not looking directly on the sun. It's only going to burn you. In the case that you understand something, most probably you won't understand anything, right? You're not learning directly Kabbalah. You must go through the stages. You should keep Torah mitzvot, you should learn Torah, Chumash, you should learn Gemara, Mishnah, Shulchan Aruch. After you know everything, then you can start looking on the sun. Okay, you cannot go directly. So with Moshe, it was quite fast, but it's still, even for Moshe Rabbeinu, he needs a process of learning. That's what he's saying here, Rabbeinu Bachye. He says, because the spiritual things, he call it sichli, the intellectual, but I would say spiritual things are similar to the natural things. Because what will happen with the mind is the same as happened with the senses, and the powers of the mind are related to the power of the body. Okay, so this is a first idea, that it's even Moshe Rabbeinu needs this gradual process of learning. And here we have another explanation to the different names of Aktav Kabbalah. So I just mentioned both Rabbeinu Bachye and Aktav and Kabbalah mentioning the explanation of Ramban according to the Kabbalah, that we are talking about a specific angel. There is an angel, that's the angel of redemption, and that all the different names refers to it. And he says the same angel that it says, Amalach hagoel oti mikol ra, that we read in the last Shabbat, this is the same angel. There is a special angel of redemption, that was the angel, and sometimes he called in the name of the God himself. So this same angel is called Hashem and Elohim. This is according to the Kabbalah, according to the Ramban. Okay, anyway, Aktav Kabbalah says something else that is also very interesting. We talked, I think, also last time about angels. What is the meaning of angels? It was here in this class, I don't remember, or it wasn't maybe in...
on Saturday.
It was on Saturday that we talked about angels. Okay, yes, so what are angels? We say usually angels are powers, messengers, agents of Hashem. Hashem is using different powers in the reality to do things. But these agents are separate from God or are part of God. This is something distinct, different from God. So usually we speak about angel as something separate from God. Right? Hashem sent Malach Gabriel, sent Malach Michael. Ketav Kabbalah say no, angels is actually God itself. It's just the way he revealed in different ways. And it's come from the word, what is the meaning of the word Malach? Melacha. What is Melacha? You know, Lo ta'asu kol Melacha. What? Work, right? Action, creating, doing something. So doing something in reality. This is what we're talking about. You're not allowed to do melacha on Shabbat. You're not allowed to create something on Shabbat. So this is malach and melacha, it's come from the same root. So that's what he says. Our rabbis taught us He doesn't say where, but apparently somewhere, שהוא יתברך נקרא בשם מלאך, that God himself is called angel. והוא נגזר משם מלאכה, and it's come from the word מלאכה, work, להיותו יתברך כביכול פועל מלאכת הבריאה. Hashem is creating in the world, creating reality. כמו שכתבתי בבירורים, ויחי במלאך הגואל. ולדבריהם יש לפרש מלאך השם, מלאך שהוא השם. I want to enter now to the Hebrew grammar. It says that sometimes when you have proximity, how do you say smichut, two words that come together, beit knesset. What?
Is it possession?
Possession, I don't know, prepossession.
Proximity.
Proximity, two words that come together. So sometimes, for example, beit knesset, house, congregation, meaning house of congregating, right? So the congregation is something that belongs to the house, or is a character of the house. But it says that sometimes in Hebrew, the proximity, it's not someone belongs, but it's the same, right? He gives some examples for that. There are sometimes that the second word is saying what is the first one. Well, okay, so that when you say Malach Hashem, meaning angel, that it is God, meaning Hashem is acting in reality. So according to that, all the different three words refers to Hashem himself. Hashem that was creating the redemption, that was acting in the meaning of redemptor. Okay, so all that are only comments about some of the questions that we raised. Now I want to focus on the main topic, which is the sneh. It's already been a while, maybe I skipped some of the explanation, but okay, so Hashem revealed to Moshe to tell him, you are going to be the Redeemer, you are going to take Am Yisrael out of Egypt, etc. Why does he need a burning bush? Can just tell him, Moshe, I'm God, nice to meet you, please go and redeem Am Yisrael, right? Why does he need to see a bush and to come closer? What is all the idea of the bush? So everybody explained, or all the Mefarshim explained, that the bush himself, burning bush himself, is a message. Hashem wanted to bring a message to Moshe. He could tell him the message, right? He could tell him, listen, that and that and that. No, but through live experience, many times the message is stronger. So you can explain him, for example, I give one example, that the sneh is Am Yisrael and it's going to burn, but it's not going to be consumed. I can tell you, don't worry, Am Yisrael is not going to be consumed. But when you see something unusual and you experience the wonder of the question, what's going on here? Something so unusual, and then you say, the same feeling that you got, how something unbelievable can happen, this is also happening to Am Yisrael, that they are going to survive all the fire that come from the Egyptians, right? So through some kind of experience, the message goes more strongly, more powerful. This is educational principle, right? So if you want to teach a child, you can tell him the information, or you can go him through some kind of experience. Both are important. You cannot only have experiences in school, right? You need to teach sometimes, but both are important. We always say about Leila Seder, it should be educational experience. We are eating the maror, we are sitting like that and asking questions. It's experience. It's not a knowledge competition. So also here, there are a lot of focus about what is this vision? What is the vision of the sneh? What is the purpose of the vision of the sneh? So Rashi says, mitoch hasneh velo inan acher. So everybody agrees that sneh is some kind of bush with kotzim. What?
Thorns.
Thorns. Yes,
Thorns.
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 Thorns. Thorns.
Thorns.
Yeah, Thor. I know how to write it. I know how to say that.
Thorns.
Thorns. Kotz. Let's say in Hebrew, kotz. So everybody agrees that the sneh, it's a bush with kotzim. So couldn't he send him, I don't know, rose also has. Some beautiful, nice, soft plant. Why does he need to do the hard? It's not even a flower like the rose. It's just ugly, rough, hard bush, right? Why is that? So Rashi say, sneh velo ilan acher, and not any other plant. Why? Mishum imo anochi v'tzara. The principle that Hashem wanted to teach Moshe Rabbeinu, I am with you. When you suffer, I suffer. So this is something that we see in many other places, that Hashem is suffering when we suffer. When we are in the galut, we say Shechina begaluta. Shechina is also, the divine presence is also in galut. And it says that the real tzaddikim, they are sorry for the galut, not because they suffer, but because Hashem suffer. Hashem suffer because we suffer, and then we suffer because Hashem suffer. Okay, so that's the message of Moshe. Don't you think that I'm sitting in heaven having fun right now? I also sad. I'm also in the same tzara as you. This is a message according to Rashi. What?
How does this thorn bush convey that message?
Hashem is like the angel inside the bush, but it's not sitting in. Yeah, he's not sitting in a nice garden. He's sitting inside the thorns, right? Okay, so this is according to Rashi. Sforno has another metaphor that it's a message. It said, "Boer ba'esh dolek," burning, v'zeh derech chidat hanevuah. This is the way. Chida is like enigma. Enigma, you say? The enigma of prophecy. That the angel was inside the sneh, and the fire is burning in the sneh around the angel. And this is to teach you another message. It's not that the first, according to Rashi, the fire is God and the throne are the suffering. Now he said, no, the fire, the angel is tzadikei Israel. להראות שבהיות צדיקי ישראל שם מלאכי השם בתוך הסנה של עם מצרים, meaning עם ישראל, who are all צדיקים, ועמך כולם צדיקים, are inside the bush of Egypt, with a lot of suffering, a lot of pain, שהם היה להם סרבים וסלונים, a lot of קוצים. And הסנה יבער באש בצרת 10 המכות. This snare that is harming עם ישראל is going to burn. And in 10, how is going to burn? With the 10 plagues. אבל לא יכלו באותן הצרות. כמו שהורה באומרו, ועשתנו לנו קל, שהיה בלתי קילה באש המלאית בו. So he says, the Egyptians are going to be burnt, but not consumed. Why? They're going to survive all the 10 plagues until the last one. Okay, so this is he's going to, giving him a spoiler of what's going to happen next. I know that Israel is suffering inside the snare, inside the bush, but I'm going to send the fire against the bush, against the Egyptians. They're going to be burning without consuming for 10 plagues. Okay, so this is a message according to Sforno. Okay, there are other explanations. I want to skip that, clear car, and to arrive to Shemot. Now we are going to the Hasidut. Until now it was Pshat. Now we are arriving to Hasidut, and we're going to see two explanations. One of Shem Shmuel, and one of Degel Machane Ephraim, the son of Baal Shem Tov. Son or grandson, I'm not sure. So, Shem Shmuel says the following. Uva Midrash, the sneh mashal al Israel. So in the Midrash, in Bereshit Rabbah, and other Midrashim, not Bereshit, Shemot Rabbah, and other Midrashim, there are many different explanations, metaphors, using the story of the sneh. In each metaphor, the sneh represents something else. It's maybe Hashem, Egyptian, Am Israel, many things, many different things. So he mentions the one who's saying that the sneh mashal al Israel. So according to that, the bush himself is Am Israel. ועוד שם, דכמו סנה שפל מכל האילנות, כך היו ישראל שפלים וירודים למצרים. So like the snake is the shortest bush. It's a very low bush, and it's a very small one. So our Am Israel are humiliated and ashamed. How do you say? You are like being humiliated, right, by all the people around them, to the Egyptians. So this is what the Midrash say. The Shem Shmuel adds something else. ויש לפרש שפלים בעיני עצמם. Not that they are low in the eyes of others. They are low in the eyes of themselves. Or in other words, they are humbled and modest. And yeah, so it's in a positive way. Yeah. So the comparison to the sneh is not to say they are suffering, it's to say they are modest. And because they are modest, even though there are many, many bad things that they are doing, Chachamim say that Am Yisrael did all the idolatry of Egypt, that they were influenced and affected by the Egyptian culture, until the angels say, what's the difference? Why are you saving Am Yisrael? They are the same as the Egyptians. There's no reason to redeem them. Okay? And then going to say, we're going to see, I didn't read it, that this is the reason that they were saved. That's what he say here. So I'm going to translate now. You can also explain they are humiliated in the eyes of themselves. And that's the reason that even though this generation was in a very, very bad condition or very bad level, and inside 49 gates of impurity, Memtet Sha'arei Tum'ah, even though they got redeemed from Hashem. Why? Like the verse says, Ani edaka eshkon vekol dodi dofek. I don't understand the context of the second verse, but the first verse says, it's a verse from Tehillim, Ani edaka eshkon, I am dwelling with the, I can translate daka as oppressed or poor or humble. So one who is humbling himself. ואני edaka eshkon. וכן יש לפרש דברי משה רבנו עליו השלום. So he said also that is a way we can explain the conversation between Moshe that is going later in the parasha. It says, Moshe said, I'm going to translate directly, who am I to go to Paro, and who am I to take out Am Yisrael from Egypt? So there are two questions here. Who am I to speak with Paro, and who am I to redeem Am Yisrael? And Hashem Yitbarach Yeshivo, Hashem Yitbarach answered to him, because I will be with you, and this is a sign for you that you will serve Hashem in this mountain. So what is the explanation of this conversation? So literally it's not so hard to understand. Moshe said, I'm nothing to speak with Paro to redeem Israel. Hashem told him, it's not you, it's me. I will help you. I will do that. That's how we can understand that. But he explained in another way. He says, because Moshe Rabbeinu was the most modest person on earth. Remember that after that when Miriam talked about him, Hashem told her, he is Anav Mikol Adam Asher Al Pnei Adama. He's the most modest person in earth. So he couldn't even imagine that Hashem will be with him. He couldn't imagine that Hashem say, go and I will be with you. Who am I that Hashem will be with me? And then he said, and that's the reason, who am I, a low person, a shepherd, a simple shepherd, that I will go to the great king? What does it mean? You're not going, Hashem is sending you. No, I'm not feeling that I'm representing Hashem. So if I'm like a simple, regular person, how can I go to speak with Paro? Mi anochi kelech el Paro. And then, not only that, who am I to redeem Am Yisrael? The great, smart, Am Chacham Venavon, the smart and wise nation, the great nation. Nobody will follow me to go and fight in Eretz Canaan, to the desert. Who is going to follow me? So Moshe is the most modest things. He doesn't understand how can he fulfill the mission that Hashem is sending him. And Hashem answered him, כי אהיה עמך. היינו שמחמת זה עצמו שאתה שפל בעיניך. So Hashem told him, this is the exact reason that I will be with you, because you are modest. It's not because you are a shepherd, it's not because you are the most intelligent person in earth, or I don't know, it's only because you are modest. So Hashem is with a person that is modest, and that's the reason that Hashem is going with him. And it is the same reason that Hashem redeemed Am Yisrael, because he saw himself as very low. And he said another example for that, דומה למה שנאמר לאהרון, למה אתה בוש לכך נבחרת? Do you remember this verse? I think we talked about it once. I will give you a hint, it's in Sefer Vayikra. Hashem told, it's not a verse, it's a midrash. It's not Vaydom Aaron. Let me just translate. It says, Moshe told Aaron, why are you ashamed? You were chosen for that.
לכך נוצרת.
לכך נבחרת. You were chosen for that. That's what I'm asking you. Do you remember?
להעלות נר תמיד.
Not תמיד, no. So in the 8th day, ביום השמיני, פרשת שמיני, ספר ויקרא.
Yeah.
So Aaron was chosen to be the Kohen Gadol. And there is all the inauguration of the tabernacle, there was a service that they had to do,
But he
korbanot.
was on there. He was on there.
That was after that. We're talking before the death of his son. Before the death of his son. I will add, according to Rashi, another version that in the background, Aaron is asking himself, I am chosen to be the Kohen Gadol, but I did the golden calf. Am I capable, deserve, appropriate person to be the one who is atoning the sins of Am Israel through the korbanot? Am I the right person to be the Kohen Gadol? So you can see in the verses that Moshe told to Aaron and his son, start walking. And then he said again to Aaron, go and do what I told you. So why the second time? So Rashi explains there, he says Aaron was ashamed. He didn't feel that he is right. So Moshe told him, don't be ashamed. You were chosen for that. So about this midrash, this is the midrash. So the midrash come to explain the gap in the verses. Why it says twice, start walking. Well, he could have said once. What? The second time, because Aaron hesitated. He didn't want to start. That's the midrash. Now the Ari explained another step. He said, Lechach nivcharta mechamat ze. What does it mean, lechach? For that. We usually understand for that, for the work. No, Ari explained, lechach, because of that, because of your behavior. Because you feel ashamed, this is the reason you were chosen. Because you feel ashamed of yourself, because you are modest. מחמת זה עצמו שאתה בוש. Okay? So this is the explanation here. So it says, even if you have made the golden calf, even if you are in 9 gates of impurity, even if you are a simple shepherd, if you are modest enough, Hashem will choose you. You will be able to do the mission. Okay, so modesty is a key to success, according to that explanation. And now we continue explaining this verse. וזה לך האות כאנוכי שלחתיך. Like we said before, Hashem told him, this is your sign that I sent you. What does it mean, this is your sign? Because if you read the verse, it says, וזה לך האות כאנוכי שלחתיך, בהוציאך את העם ממצרים, תעבדו את האלוקים. I give you the sign. When you go out from Egypt, you will serve Hashem on this mountain. So here it's not very clear. I'm not sure now that I can go to Paro. You tell me in the end how it can be a sign. It didn't happen yet. You're trying to convince me that I can go. So you tell me, how do you know that you can go? That in the end of the story, you will serve Hashem here in this mountain. It doesn't work. You need a sign now to see that he can go. What? That's what he's saying, yeah. So that's exactly what he's saying. This is a sign, it's a bush. I tell you that this is a famous question about this verse, and there are other explanations to that. Okay, well, I'm not going to enter to that, but that's what he say here. It's not that you are going to walk later, to serve Hashem later in this mountain. This is a sign. The sign is a sneh. The sneh that you saw. היינו מראה הסנה שמורה בשביל שפלות ישראל בעיני עצמם, כמוהם כמוך, בשביל עניין זה אנוכי שלחתיך. The same message that I sent you in the beginning of our conversation. I sent you the message that's saying, even though Am Israel is impure right now, he is like sneh, and that's the reason he is redeemed. The same sign, the same idea I'm telling about you. The reason you can go and speak with Paro and redeem Am Israel is because you are as modest as a sneh. וידוע שכוח המשלח בהשליח של אדם כמותו, ועוד זאת, and say another sign, בהוציאך את העם ממצרים, תעבדו את האלוקים על ההר הזה, שאף הוא שפל שבהרים כבשס, כי מחמת שפלותו זכה לכל. Also, so this is also to let you know that in the end of the story, you are going to serve Hashem in this mountain. Why? Because it's the lowest mountain. Okay, so again, the same idea. So I think that the message is quite clear and quite important, that, like I said before, the key for success is being modest and humble, and then Hashem gives you the power to do the greater things, right? Depends on your modesty. Okay, so this is the idea of Shem Shmuel. Now, the Degel Machane Ephraim, do we have time yet? Yeah, we are good. Not an hour yet. So I think also it's very important. Like I said before, you are taking the historical events, national or whatever, and try to apply it in your life, like we did right now with the idea of modesty. And Degel Machane Ephraim said the encounter, the meeting of Moshe and Hashem is happening to each and every one of us. So Hashem is meeting Moshe, or Moshe is meeting Hashem, we also meet Hashem. And we should learn from Moshe to our meetings with Hashem. And which is the main meeting that we have with Hashem, where we are the most coming together with Hashem, in the moment of prayer. So from the story of the bush, you can learn about your personal prayer, daily prayer. Okay, so he is bringing in the beginning all the verses. Let's see what he says. יש לומר בזה, מה שחנני השם בימי חורפי ברחמיו וברוב חסדיו, על פי ששמעתי מאבי אדוני זיכרונו לברכה. So he said something that Hashem gave me the blessing of understanding according to what I heard from my father, meaning Abal Shem Tov. So he says something, I heard something from him, and I want to apply that on these verses, what he heard from his father. This is something amazing. I never saw something like that. We talked, I think, last time or 2 times ago, I don't remember, about the problem of concentrating in the prayer, that during the prayer, you start thinking about other stuff, right? You start the prayer in Edmonton, you continue in Israel and going back to Iran, and after that Venezuela, and in the end of this, suddenly you find yourself in the end of the story, I'm still in Edmonton, right? So so this is, of course, our main challenge during the tefillah, to concentrate if what we are saying. So the main problem, like I said, I don't know if the main, but one of the problems is to concentrate, not to start thinking about other stuff. But there is an even worse case, when you start to think about things that you're not allowed to think. This is even worse. Okay, so this is something that we should fight. And maybe you're going to feel bad about it. I'm speaking with Hashem, and suddenly I think something that I shouldn't imagination, or things that I shouldn't think about. And this is bad. So he says here, המחשבות הזרות. So it's in the original book, it says mem zayin. So it can be translated as מחשבות זרות, meaning strange thoughts.
Foreign.
What?
Foreign.
Foreign thought. It can also be מחשבות זנות. I will say
Immodest.
unethical sexual behavior.
Immodest.
Immodest thought. הבאים לאדם בתוך התפילה. But according to the example that he says, it's only one case. So he says the foreign, I would say the bad thoughts that we have during the tefillah, that it comes to you during the tefillah, הוא כדי לתקן ולהעלות הניצוצים קדישים שהם מלובשים לתוך אותם המחשבות. It's something amazing. It says inside the sin thoughts, how do you call them? Sin thought?
Sinful, yeah.
Sinful thoughts. There is a spark of holiness that needs to be saved, redeemed. So the reason you got these thoughts, it's not because you are the bad person. It's because these thoughts are coming to you to save them. It's the opportunity to be saved. So it's even, I would say, a good thing. Don't start thinking. But if it's happened to you, that it's come to your mind, it's in order to elevate and fix, לתקן ולהעלות, to fix and elevate the holy sparks that are inside this thought. And you should know how to elevate them and to stick them to the root, to find the root. So maybe to explain that a little bit more based on other things that we usually say, is that every sin, every bad action has some kind of holy root. It comes from the basic, deep will that is in the base of this action is positive. Only it's translated to a bad, negative action. Okay? So in the Kabbalah, it says that every sin has a root in the Kedusha, because the energy comes from the soul that comes from Hashem, that is a divine part that we have. And the will, the basic will of every person is to come closer to Hashem. So in the way something gets wrong, and it's go out in a negative way. So we have Yetzer Hara, and we have Satan, we have the body, we have the temptations and the desires, and all those things that they have the power to divest, to change the root of the path.
Divert.
Divert the path of this deep will from good to bad. So when this thought come to you, meaning that the holy base of this thought, it wants you to save him, and then that's the reason he come. Okay, so this is what the Baal Shem Tov says. And he give here example, דרך משל, for example, אם בא לו חס ושלום הרהורים רעים מזנות. Okay, so if חס ושלום, he has bad thought about, I could say, immodesty, inappropriate sexual behavior, okay? חס וחלילה, God forbid. What does it mean? יבין, he should understand שהם משורש חסד. They are coming from the root of chesed. So, according to the Kabbalah, the root of znut, how do you say, idolatry, sexual behavior, is from chesed, because the power of sex is come from giving to the other side. If it's appropriate, if it's done in the right way to create life, it's the biggest gift you can give. So this is the root of that, but it can be divert in a negative way to a sin. So this again, the root of all kind of prohibitions that related to that, the root is chesed. It just came out bad, in a bad way. Like what he says, שמשורש חסד הגדול, it comes from the root of the big kindness, chesed, שנפל משורשו, that it fell away from its root, בהתפשטותו מאלה לטאטה, למדרגה תחתונים ושתו. When it comes from heaven, because the kindness comes from heaven, to this world, it fell down, and it's arrived to the lowest place. It's one, of course, the act itself, the deed itself, is the lowest level that human being can, one of the lowest levels that human being can arrive. So it's come from heaven, but in the way, it fell down and it went away from the purpose. וצריך להעלותו. So what you have to do is to find it and stick it to the root, which is the superior grace, superior kindness. And this is first example. וכן, אם בא מחשבות של איזה פחד ויראה חיצונית. This is a strange example, but we'll see later why he's using this example. If you have some kind of fear, that it's not fear from Hashem, but some kind of it's called exterior sin. So I'm not sure what he's speaking about. Maybe a fear of doing the right thing, fear of society, fear of, I don't know, not having confidence in Hashem, fear of the world. This kind of fear, which is sin, he should connect himself to the root, which is fear of Hashem. שהוא יראה הילאה, שורש כל היראה. So this is the second example. And the third example, וכן, כשנופל למחשבתו איזה גדלות והתפארות, arrogance and pride. So if you become, suddenly you feel pride penetrating your thought in the middle of, we are not talking about when it's happened to you in the street. When you are in the middle of the tefillah, and suddenly you have this feeling of pride, of arrogance, this means that this thought comes to you to save it, to connect it to its root. What is the root of התפארות? דרך עצמו למידת תפארת. תפארת, it's the midah of the glory of Hashem, which is the beauty that exists in all the creation, all the things that Hashem made, all that Hashem. I hope that I'm explaining that correctly, but it's not random here. You see what he's doing? We have Chesed, Din, Tiferet. This has the three midot: Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Okay, so that's why you say, okay, we'll see. Okay, I'm telling you. Anyway, he says, any kind of bad thought that come into you, you should make an effort to connect it to its root and find in yourself Chesed of Hashem, fear of Hashem, Tiferet of Hashem. Okay? וזה יש לומר, so all this he learned from his father. Now he says, this is the explanation of this verse. וזה יש לומר שמרומז כאן בפסוק כי סנה, so according to this explanation, what is a snare? The snare is the bad thought that comes. So you are coming, you are approaching to a meeting with Hashem, which is a prayer. And then, according to that, it's much better in the verse. Let's see the verse. It said, וירא אליו מלאך השם. Hashem appears to him. Why Hashem appears to you? Because you are going to meet Hashem. You are going to pray. So Hashem is there in the synagogue or in your house or wherever you are praying, and you are approaching to Hashem. So that's the reason the malach is before the fire and the snake. Not only that you are approaching to Hashem, you are doing that belabat esh, fire, meaning enthusiasm, happiness, joy. I am going to tefillah with all the joy in the world, with all the enthusiasm. The fire of loving of Hashem is burning in myself. And then suddenly what I see, snake. Suddenly the bad thought come to me. Okay, that's what he's saying. Let's read in his words. This is what's hinted in this verse, because the snare is the bad thought, the foreigner and bad thought, like kotzim, שהוא מרמז על רשע, that is hinting for wickedness and klipot and shell and bad thought, והרהורים רעים ובישים, many words to say, bad things that come into my mind. And this is what the verse says, וירא אליו מלאך השם בלבת אש מתוך הסנה, היינו בתוך עבודתו, inside his worship, בהתלהבות אש, with enthusiasm, burning enthusiasm, ודבקות גדול, he was very connected, דבק to השם, suddenly בא לו הסנה, שהוא מחשבות זרות כנ"ל. Okay, so ויאמר משה, אסור ענה. So Moshe said, I will remove it. I should reject this thought. That should be our first reaction. I'm praying to Hashem. Suddenly I have bad imagination. I should remove him from my mind. היינו אפנה מחשבותיי, ואסיר כל דבר התורדי מחשבותי. I will remove from my thought any bad thing that come into my mind. And not only that, Moshe is wondering, how come that I am coming to pray? I am trying to sanctify myself. And suddenly I'm like a very low person to think this kind of thoughts. How come that I, in this moment of enthusiasm, of holiness, of connection with Hashem, thinking about such ugly things, right? היינו שתמה מאוד, Moshe was wondering, or Moshe, or each one of us, when we are Moshe, when we are, איך יקרב אליו כלל שהוא מחשבה זרה לבטלו מעבודתו? How it's possible that this kind of thought come to me to cancel, to erase my worship, כי מחויב הדבר שיהיה נשרף. It should have been that with my fire it will be burned. How come that the bush is not burning, is not consuming, right? So I have the fire of love to Hashem, of enthusiasm of the prayer, and this fire is not burning the bad thoughts. How it's possible? So this is the question that Moshe is wondering, how it's possible that I'm doing that and it's not. So it says it should have been, it would have been obligation, mechuyab, it's must have been that it would be burnt and totally nullified, all the shells and all the bad thoughts with the hevel piv, with the words of his holy mouth, and with his enthusiasm and the greatness of his connection to Hashem. And then Hashem is answering, וירא השם כי שר לראות. היינו לגודל חסדו וטובו של השם יתברך ברוך הוא, מיד וירא השם כי שר לראות וישתוקק לידע אמיתת הדברים, מיד נתראה ונתגלה אליו מתוך אותן המחשבות הזרות. So he said, Hashem saw that Moshe tried to remove his thought. He's tried to fight in that. So with his kindness, he revealed himself, meaning gave him the reason to understand why I have this thought, why I have these things that distract me from prayer. There is a purpose for that. And that's what he said, נתראה ונגלה אליו מתוך אותן המחשבות הזרות. From inside, from the same thoughts themselves, they helped him to connect himself with Hashem again. Because he found a way how to elevate this מחשבות זרות. So it's very beautiful in the words, right? It's clearly not the literal meaning of the verses, but it says he could put it inside the word very nicely. וזהו ויקרא אליו מתוך הסנה. it says, ויקרא אליו מתוך הסנה. Hashem called him from inside the snare. Why from inside? He could speak from heaven. No, from the same thoughts, it was revealed to him. וגילה לו רע זה, של נעליך מעל רגליך, היינו שירה להסיר הרע מאותן המחשבות, ולהביא אותם לבחינת הטוב. What does it mean, take away your shoes? Only your shoes, you should stay here. It doesn't say you are not allowed to stand here, in this holy place. He said to him, you are not allowed to stay here with your shoes. You should take away your shoes. So it's the shoes in this aspect, this explanation, are the bad part of the bad thought. Once you're taking away the shoes, you can stay. You should stay here, and this is how you even connect more. היינו שירה להסיר הרע. You should remove the bad from these thoughts, and to bring them to the aspect of good and to reconnect them to the root. Why? כי המקום אשר אתה עומד עליו אדמת קודש הוא. Where you are standing right now, in the prayer that you are fighting this bad thought, it's a holy place. You are inside the holiness. And it's really that you are standing in a holy place and in a very high level, מדרגה קדושה, and your prayer is holy. It's very encouraging, right, to think in this way. It's not because you are a bad person. Of course, if it's because you're a bad person, you're always thinking about that, and also in that tefillah, you should fight it. But if you usually doing good, doing well, think well, behaving well, and suddenly in the middle of the tefillah, you having that, there is a purpose for that. Don't feel bad with yourself. Don't lose your, or I don't know, be disappointed of yourself. This was sent to you by God in order to fight. That's what they say. You are in a holy place and your prayer is holy. And the reason that these thoughts come to you in the middle of the tefillah is because Anochi Elokei Avicha. We say, remember, Elokei Avicha, Elokei Avraham. What is Avicha? We translated as father. Yeah, but Ava, what is Ava in Hebrew?
Wow.
No, Ava is
Will.
want. Yeah, לרצות, to will, to want. כמו ואבית תהילה. We are saying that in the תפילה of יום כיפור. Right? הנה אנוכי אלוקי אביך לשון תאווה. I am the God of your desires. Meaning inside your desires, they're also God. In the root, in the very, very deep place, but over there, I am the God of your desires. שיש, היינו מחמת בחינת אלוקות, the aspect of divinity, godness, that there is inside these desires and thoughts that come into you. And these are the holy sparks that fell from the roots, and they desire, the sparks desire and want to fix themselves and return to the root. And that's the reason they're coming to you in the middle of your war, of your worship and prayer. And there are different aspects for that, because we have the God of Abraham, wants to say the thought that come from the root of Chesed, which are, like we said, the immodesty, Midat Avraham, and there is the God of Yitzchak, and these are the thoughts that come from the aspect of Gvura, which is fear, and you should elevate them to the root of the superior fear. And Elohei Yaakov, היינו מידת תפארת, בה התפארות וגדלות. You can say Tiferet is the bad side, is arrogance, and the good side is glorifying the God, or seeing the greatness of God. Also the greatness of God that appears in you. Okay, it's also Tiferet. It's not coming from you, you are modest, but all the things that coming from me, the good things that coming from me, coming from Hashem. So this is the greatness inside you, the Tiferet inside you. הכל כדי לעלות לשורשם ולא לבטלך. So this thought doesn't come to you in order to cancel your tefillah, to distract you from the tefillah. It's come to you because you can save them. So okay, let's try to understand that a little bit more. What he's saying. So basically, I think we understand the idea. The idea is that in your encounter with Hashem, he mainly speaks about the tefillah, but it can be in any moment that you are in this connection with Hashem. It can be when you think about Him, when you are praying, we are making mitzvah, we are lighting candles of Shabbat, and If it's not because you are totally inside the bad thought, usually not like that, and suddenly you do have this kind of falling, this kind of challenge, it doesn't mean you don't have to fight and try to distract yourself from that. But it says that if it's something that happened to you, there is something good on that. There is something that you should find. Okay, I have that. What is the root of that? What is coming from, and what good I can find in it, and connect it to the same moment that I'm in. I'm inside this moment of closeness to Hashem. How can I connect these negative elements of my life to be also part of this closeness? To find the root that can connect them to that. So this is, I think, a nice idea that this can respond to that. Square.
תודה רבה. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.